Welcome back to Outdoors with the Morgans. That looks so much better since I removed that big tree right there. That had to go. Shaping up pretty nice here. This is the building pad right there. I need a little bit more shale to go out around the edges. Then I'll check grade, do like my final grade, and then I will call them and tell them we're ready for a building. I'll still have a lot of work to do out here, but I can do that while they're building the building or even after it. I just want to get this thing under roof before the weather gets bad. But anyway, that's not what today's video is about. We're going to take a road trip first thing tomorrow morning, and I'll report back then. All right, I just made my second stop of the day. Let me show you what I picked up on my first stop. I got a full load of IBC cages, and the bladders were already removed. That's a huge bonus right there. But yeah, I got 20 of them on the trailer. I was gonna bring the dump truck, but pretty long way to be bouncing around in that F600. I could have fit probably six more maybe if I brought the dump truck, but I decided to bring the F350. I'll be back up this way in another month or so and get another 20. And you know what the best part of the deal on that load of baskets is? The price. I didn't pay a nickel for them. A very nice man, Travis is his name. He watches our channel, and he reached out to me, and the company that he works for, they go through quite a few of them. They used to have someone that would come take them. That guy no longer does it, or something happened, I don't know. And he asked me if I wanted any. They had like 40 of them. And I said, you know, it's a long way, but I haven't been up this way for the longest time. And I wanted to come up and get them because I can always use IBC baskets. And plus, right now, we're near the town of Blossburg, Pennsylvania. This town, I have a lot of history here. I spent probably about a year and a half up here between Blossburg and Mansfield working on a big highway project, blasting. This would have been back in 1999, and I haven't been on this stretch of road since I left the job. So we're going to take a ride through the job. It's going to look totally different. I mean, it's 25 years ago. And then we're going to take Route 6 back west towards home. And it's a very nice ride across there. May stop at the Pennsylvania Grand Canyon. Definitely going to stop at the PA Lumber Museum. So just going to spend the day at it. All right, we're right near the town of Blossburg. And yeah, this is the job that I was on right here. We started up top there. It was a big side hill cut and just blasted our way down here. But we had a lot of fun on this job. We did. I'm telling you, it was a lot of work. Like I said, I think we were here 16, 18 months, but this was mostly all solid sand rock. A lot of pre-split blasting. But yeah, there's the exit for Blossburg. Everything's starting to make more sense here. But like I said, I haven't been here in 25 years. Yeah, the town of Blossburg's right down over the hill there. Somewhere around this turn here, yeah, one day I was shooting a bunch of boulders, and I did not like blasting boulders because, I mean, they could be entertaining and frightening as well, because you just didn't know what they were going to do. But, you know, we were shooting into an open face, and you'd get these big boulders that would accumulate. And I mean, I'm talking boulders as big as my truck, and you'd have to go in there with a small drill and drill them and shoot them. And, you know, most of them would just kind of shatter in place, no big deal. But some of them would just launch rocks into orbit, and you didn't know where they were going. But yeah, never liked shooting boulders. And I think our section ended right in here. And then later on, another contractor started this one here. And I think this goes, I think they redid this road the whole way to New York State, I think. We're gonna head up to Mansfield though, and then we'll hang a left on 6 West. All right, I'm getting off here at Mansfield, but I gotta show you something here. And I'm gonna tell you a story in a little bit about this hotel right up here. It's a good story. There's a Quality Inn, sits up there about 100 yards, okay? Remember that story and what that looks like right here. All right, we're in the town of Wellsboro right now. I think we're about 10 miles from the PA Grand Canyon. And bad news to report. The PA Lumber Museum, for some reason, is not open today. I just checked their website, and it says opens tomorrow at 9 a.m. No idea why. Looks like there's still a lot of businesses on Main Street. You don't see that as often anymore. So today is one of those days where we may get a spectacular view of the canyon, or we could be in the fog. We'll just have to see what it looks like when we get there. But we left Wellsboro about 10 minutes ago, and I've been climbing this hill here for the last 5 minutes or so. We're getting close. The leaves are, they're looking better here than they are at home. Everything at home, they must have had just a little bit more rain than us. I know it's been dry up here as well, but like all our maple trees, they're just shriveled up and falling on the ground, barely turning at all. The oaks will still be nice, but you get those real bright colors from the maples. All right, I'm at the Elk County Visitor Center. I've been here once before. It's a pretty cool place. Alright, so I took a little walk through the visitor center, and I learned, well, elk are native to Pennsylvania, but they figure the last one was killed in 1867, and then they reintroduced them in 1913. They brought 50 elk from Yellowstone and reintroduced them here in Pennsylvania, and today I think there's a little over 1,000 is what they figure, and they actually have a hunting season now, and you have to draw tags for them, but they're a pretty cool animal. They really are. Guess what's hiding in there? There's a big old bull elk. Not 30 feet off the road right there. Zero miles to empty, 4.5 miles to the gas station. I dropped the ball. All right, it's shut off at $175, 44.2 gallons. I'm gonna top it off. It's got a 48-gallon tank. That way I can figure out what kind of cushion I got. All right, just took another gallon. I do not like running it that low. That's happened to me one other time. But it looks like, yeah, I took about 45.2 gallons. It's a 48-gallon tank. Now, I'm not saying you could use all 48 gallons before it runs out. I have no idea. But at least I know I do have a little bit of a cushion if I ever get into trouble. All right, it is first thing in the morning. I got back last night around 7:30. But we'll get these unloaded today at some point. Levi will probably start filling them. I've got a bunch of cherry in the wood bunker right now that will actually, we could actually sell it, you know, this fall, early winter. So we had a little bit of rain on and off yesterday and last night, but the night before that we had quite a bit. So you know what that means? Well, I thought it was a good day to burn, but I haven't had any luck yet. I only had a little bit of diesel fuel with me. I need to go get some more in my sprayer. The sprayer works good. Like, I got a little flame down there at the bottom, and with that sprayer, you can direct that fuel right to the fire and get that center burning. And once I get her going, she's gonna be ripping. But anyway, right now, I need to head over to the neighbors and meet an inspector for the driveway. I'm pretty sure we're eliminating the culvert pipe. We're just going to confirm that this morning, hopefully. And if that's the case, probably tomorrow or the next day, I'll do a little finish grading and stone that driveway, and I'll be done with that. And then I can come back out here, finish up my my building site. I don't have a whole lot more to do out here to get ready for the building. I'll have more work later on. But I want to get rid of all those brush piles over there, get rid of all those stumps, move a little bit more shale, And it's kind of nice. We had a bunch of rain, but it was so dry. It was just soaking everything up, and it's not even really muddy at all, but everything's wet. There's a no-eared spike again. He's always hung out by the house ever since he was little. He stays a little farther away now, but he looks like a nice healthy deer. It's no ears. Can't figure it out. All right, so I met the inspector over on the neighbor's driveway job. No culvert pipe. All I need is a little bit of dry weather and we'll get that stoned. A few finishing touches and that'll be done. Not even a half day's work left over there. Now I'm going to try round 2 on getting this fire going.
right, that fire is cooking now. I put a couple cherry stumps on it. The maples, I think, are gonna go to the stump pile down over the hill. The cherry, you can get most of the dirt off of them, but the maple, it's pretty much impossible. Like, this is a real big maple right here. You got 2 feet of dirt. It's just like it's sitting on a concrete pedestal. I don't think I'm gonna try to burn these. Like I said, I got a pile down that way, right where it drops off the cliff, basically. So I think I'll take all the maples down there. A lot of people say that I should use that split fire splitter on the excavator to try to like bust these stumps down a little bit. That would never work. These are, you know, it's a great splitter for breaking down big rounds, but trying to do a stump like this, it's probably a 25 or a 30 ton splitter. I've seen equipment do that, but they're big excavators, like with shears on them, tons and tons of power. A regular log splitter, I just wouldn't be able to break these stumps down with it. Just wouldn't work. Not enough power. But it's amazing how quickly I'm getting all that to go away. And I just got this fire going about 45 minutes ago. I'm gonna let this thing cook for about 2 hours. Yeah,
I got a few things I got to take care of. I'll come back out here in about 2 hours. That should be burnt down quite a bit. I'll put some more brush in there, a couple more stumps, and then once that thing burns out, I mean, that hole's probably 8 or 9 feet deep. All this dirt around here is going to go back in that hole, try to compact it as best as I can. I need to clean up down below it, get the rest of this shale out of here, grade this all up, put some topsoil in here. It'll look like a golf course with a hidden secret buried beneath it. But this is all going to come together quick now. Just general cleanup. I'm going to seed and mow the food plot. All that buckwheat's dying off. That will be my mulch for the winter rye. We'll plant all this down here, have the building site ready. That'll be great. But anyway, I'll report back in a couple hours. This afternoon we're going to head out here and do some work in the mud, but I'm not going to complain about the mud because I've been complaining about the dust now for a month and a half. But we have had a lot of rain. I mean a lot. Rained again this morning for about 4 or 5 hours. Pretty sloppy out here, but I got something we can do. We're going to take down that massive maple tree over there. The one out past the excavator. It's the biggest tree out here, I believe, at least over on this side. I was wanting to keep that tree, but it's just going to be in the way. It is. And not only that, this was all woods like a year and a half ago. And once you take all those other trees out from around it, I get a little bit concerned about wind damage. It's going to be close to the building. So we just got to take it down. And it's going to be a chore. I'm telling you what, this one here, it's going to take a little time. I keep telling myself, don't complain about the mud. Wait till you see this burn pit. This thing was chocked full yesterday. I mean, full. The stumps got a lot smaller, but there's a ton of hot coals in there. I can come down here with the excavator, pitch some of this stuff in there, and then I figured it's a good time to take that tree down while we got a hot pit here. So let's get started. I just saw some deer running out there. But after today, it appears, yeah, there goes some more. It appears that things are going to dry up a little bit, which I need to happen to finish up the pad there. And I made a lot of this pile here go away. I got 4 more big stumps here. That stuff right there, some of it'll burn, some won't. But this tree here, this one's going to be a handful. Whew! That's a big one. And the thing is, it's got a lot of lean going that way. I would love to be able to get this tree to go right over there, closer to the burn pit. We're just going to have to see. But look at all these roots right here. We're going to have a giant hole right here when we're done. Can you see all those yellow jackets? There are hundreds and hundreds of yellow jackets all around that tree. They had a nest in the ground somewhere there, and they're pretty furious with me. I had to move the machine out of the way so I could get out. I want to move the skid loader. It's kind of within the danger zone. I'm going to try to get that tree to come this direction where I'm standing, but it's hard to tell.
All right, that was a very good move, taking that tree down. It was very brittle. Like, I was able just to rip most of it apart with the excavator, and it was just too close to the building. I would have had limbs coming down, hitting the roof, whatever. Glad it's on the ground. I need to figure out how to cut that stump off or move the entire thing to get it away from all those yellow jackets. So there's a pile of them still buzzing around down there. I'll figure that out later. I got a real mess here right in the middle of the road where I kept crossing, but I'll get that fixed up, get it to drain. And I'm hoping that my fire takes off again. I think it will. I do. I mean, I had a rip-roaring fire there yesterday. It all burnt down though, and it had a bunch of rain, but it's starting to smoke a little bit. I fit almost that entire tree in that pit. So I almost forgot about the story that I mentioned earlier in this video when I was up there around Blossburg, and this is a good story. So we worked on this job, I think, for about 18 months, and it was a lot of work. It was drilling and blasting. It's just, it's tough work. It is. You're out there in the mud, and there was myself and 2 drillers. I was good friends with them, and then we'd have other guys kind of come and go, but myself and my 2 buddies were there most of the time, and we stayed in this hotel for a while, months actually, and then we found a house to rent. The company was paying for it. So the hotel was up in Mansfield, Pennsylvania, and every night after work, almost every night, we'd eat dinner at the same place in Blossburg. Now I'm guessing it's about 15 miles, can't really remember. It's a little bit of a drive to get to the hotel. So one night we're at dinner, and we're all kind of competitive, you know, and I was, it was 25 years ago. I was dumber than I am now, and I said when I went to my one buddy, I said, I'll race you back to the hotel. And you have to keep in mind, this guy, he's pretty wild. You know what I mean? Great guy. But back then, he was pretty crazy. And he would wreck 2 trucks just to win the bet. And I shouldn't have done it, but I said, I'll race you back to the hotel. First one sitting in the lobby is the winner. He's like, what do you want to bet? I'm like, I don't care. Whatever you want, you know? So I think we bet dinner the next night. So I said, I'll even let you go first when we pull out of here. So we go get in our trucks. There's me and one other guy, and Rick, I'll tell you his first name, he's in the other truck. We pull out. We never went fast or anything. We're just driving to the hotel. But the whole time, he's watching me in my mirror, waiting for me to make my move. There were several passing zones, and I just followed him. And he's wondering what's going on, you know? And we're getting closer to the hotel, and I mean, he's driving in his mirror, looking straight. I can see him. And we get to that exit that I showed you earlier in the video, and the hotel sits up on the hill. Well, we loop around the exit. He's in front of me, and I slow up a little bit, give him a little bit more of a lead so he feels confident. And he's almost down to the red light, and I just slow down. I pull off onto the shoulder, and I put the emergency brake on in the truck as a 4-speed. And I tell the other guy with me, you're going to have to drive it on in. I jump out of the truck, I hop over the Jersey barrier, and I ran up that fill slope. And I get to the top, and I didn't factor this in, but there is a fence up there. Luckily, there was a hole in the fence. I go through the fence, kind of jog. I had time across the parking lot. And when Rick saw me stop, I mean, he took off because he's got to go down, make a left, then another left, then all the way back up the hill to the hotel. So I'm walking across the parking lot. I still don't see him yet. I'm sitting in the lobby, have my legs crossed, reading the newspaper when he walked in. And I said to him, I said, do you really think I would have made that bet with you had I not had a plan, you know? But I'll never forget that. Yeah, just sitting there with my legs crossed. He never saw it coming. He didn't. But that was we had fun on those jobs back then. I mean, we'd be out there in a cut in the middle of this job, middle of nowhere, and while you're waiting for the drills to drill more holes to load, we'd be like target shooting. I mean, just whatever, you know. Back then, you could just do so much more than you could today, and it was a lot of fun. It was. But yeah, that's the story that I wanted to tell you. So if anyone ever makes you a bet that you are sure you're going to win, they might have an angle. But anyway, I think that's about it for today's video. I do. This has been all over the place. Once again, I want to thank Travis for all the baskets, and I also want to thank all of you for watching these videos. I really appreciate it. And I think that's about it. We'll catch you on the next one.